Hello, how are you? So today we have some cozy yoga for kind of gestating during the new year. So, New Year is often a time with many intentions and wishes and hopes and dreams happening. And so we're just going to have a little movement practice to feel into those, give space to those. So let's go ahead and come onto the mat. And we're going to start with ourselves coming down onto our backs. And let's have a block nearby, and we'll even have a strap. I did not grab my stuff ahead of time, but if you have a block and a strap, we'll grab those as well. Here we go. Come down onto our backs, and we'll have the feet on the floor, and let yourself have your hands, your arms, wherever feels comfortable at this point in practice. I'm going to have mine in this kind of W shape so that I can feel the way that the shoulder blades either rest on the ground or don't rest on the ground. And let's take a few breaths just to arrive. Good. Yeah. And then slide the hands back behind the head and lift the left foot just off the ground. Send the left foot up towards the sky, and then point the toes and kind of lower, like you're just feeling down into how low the leg wants to go, and then we'll lift right back up again. And let's take a few like that, and a lowering, just sensing what this is like. And lifting. And once more, the lower. And the lift. Yeah. And then we're going to take that foot and place it right over the opposite knee and let that knee come out to the side. And then pick up the hips just gently, set them over towards the left a little bit, and let the left foot come down towards the ground. If the ground feels too far away, just grab a block and put a block underneath that foot. And then we're going to take the left hand and send it away from the left foot. And you might even look over towards the left as well. And then send big breaths down into kind of sideways, low belly, hips, pelvis. And then we're going to lift everything back up, take the left hand back underneath the head, and then we're going to let the knees come over to the other side. So slowly, gently, see if that's okay. Again, if it feels too far, grab a block and put a block underneath the knees. And then let's come all the way back up to center and hug everything in. So we're going to stay with the same shape. And instead of, you can release the hands from behind the head, we're going to take the right hand onto the left foot and the left hand onto the right knee. And give just a little bit of a wiggle side to side. And then let the right foot release back down to the ground. I like to take both hands onto the right foot here, or the left foot, excuse me. You can see if you like that, or if you would like to kind of remain with the left hand on the left knee. And then we slowly lift the left foot like you were going to take the left foot overhead. Flex the left ankle, so let that be strong. And then we'll just release the grip. Send that foot back up towards the sky. Take the hand long overhead. And one more time, we're going to lift and lower this leg so that it lowers down. And then when we lift back up, we can take a nice big breath in. And lower back down. And lift. And once more, lowering and lifting. And then simply bend the knees, set the foot on the floor, and give a little bit of a shift, maybe side to side. And then gonna release the hands back behind the head. And rest the head on the hands. Almost like you're resting back, relaxing, right? Kind of taking that attitude into the way that we approach the body and into body movement, right? That we can kind of take body movement and take this time as sincere comfort, as opposed to how we think about body movement so much, especially during the new year. Go ahead and lift that knee and then send the foot up towards the sky, right? Body movement becomes this kind of agenda on changing and fixing ourselves. And instead, just letting it be a love and an embrace and of who we are, how we are. See how low that leg wants to go, and then lift all the way back up. You might notice some wobbles and some shakes, and that's totally normal and natural. It doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean that you're weak. Doesn't mean that you need to fix something. This is the body's response to movement in this way. And then we're going to bend the knee and place that ankle across the other thigh. We'll pick up the hips and bump them just a little bit over towards the right, and then release the right foot towards the ground. Again, if it feels far away, get something to bolster that block so that you can come into a place that feels like you can be here, not a place that you immediately want to escape. If you let the right arm reach and maybe even look out towards the right. So this practice is a lot about space, just creating some space inside of us. And it's this kind of season of letting go, of shedding, of releasing, grounding. Go ahead and release back up. Take the hands back under the head if that works for you. Bump the hips a little over to the other side and then let the knees come down once again, opposite direction. But in this space, right, that we're creating when we're shedding and letting go, this space, this empty space, becomes a ground, right, of richness for renewal. And this is, right, the time of renewal in the new year. Could still be lingering parts of us that are still letting go and releasing. And we start to understand that, right, in cycles, it's like whatever has a beginning is also having an ending. Right? It's kind of this constant cycle. And so even in the ending of the year, we have this new year beginning. Go ahead and bring your knees back up. And nothing new might be visible from the outside. Go ahead and pull the knees in now. All right, there might not be any big changes quite yet, right? They might still be gestating in this kind of empty space that we're creating. And we wouldn't know that culturally, right? Culturally, it's like, get yourself going, make it all happen. Here we get to be a little bit more kind of in tune with the natural cycles. You can hold on to the right foot perhaps, or maybe you keep holding on to the right knee, but you might move your right hand over and then release the left foot down. Any kind of little movements here, little wiggles, little wobbles. But we'll start to guide, and it might be a really small movement, but we'll start to guide the right foot towards overhead, right? And you might hit boundaries like right away, and we just honor those boundaries. We kind of sit patiently at those boundaries and notice our breath, how we're responding to these boundaries. Can we respond in kindness to ourselves? Beautiful. And then release that foot back up towards the sky. Release the hands back behind the head. Maybe point the toes and take that leg low down towards the ground. And then lifting back up again. And lowering. And lifting. And once more, lowering. And back up to the top. Bend the knee and set that foot down on the ground. Let the soles of the feet come together, the knees apart. And let the arms come to a place that feels comfortable, like truly comfortable. And if that's hard to find, then just the best you can do there. And let yourself come into this kind of open awareness. And in this open awareness, in this space that we're giving ourselves, we just might find empty. Let's let ourselves feel in that emptiness, if that makes sense. Slide the hands to the outsides of the legs and guide the knees back up towards each other. And then draw the knees towards the chest. And we're going to take one hand to each knee. Let the knees come away from the body and then circle around in these big circles. A few times. Almost like a massage. Can we let it feel like a massage from the ground, from the movement, from our willingness to be in full participation, whatever that means for you today. You might take it into the opposite direction of the circles. You might start to take it into independent circles, so each knee can kind of move in its own way. Yeah. Good. And then bring feet down to the ground, hands back behind the head. Take a full breath in here, maybe a little press down through the elbows, and then as you exhale, I'm going to curl up a little here. And then as you inhale, release yourself back down. Let this be about the breath, so take a nice big full breath in, and then as you exhale, curl in, round in. The inhale finds the fullness, the expansion. And exhale, rounds in and curls in. And then you can stay here with the upper body moving and the feet on the floor, or you could begin to lift the knees towards the elbows and squeeze in. Good, and release that. Yeah. Release the arms, release the feet. And we'll roll over onto a side. And come up onto all fours. And the hands more or less underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Let the head sink, the belly sink, everything sink down. Give a little wag side to side. Maybe a little bit of cat-cow. And then we'll step the left foot forward between the hands and let the hips shift forward. Let the head, base the head come down so the back of the neck can be a little soft here. Feel the leg, the back leg long back behind. You might give a little extra kind of feel to the top of the back foot. Right, so if we just gently ground the top of the back foot down, sometimes you can feel a little engagement through the back leg. And we can take, sometimes it's nice to have, I'm going to put my right hand on a block and let the left hand come way forward and then up towards the sky. Take the hand to the back of the head and then take an inhale here, and as you exhale, let the elbow come just inside, down inside the left leg. So left elbow down inside the left leg, and then as you inhale, lift back up again. And you can have just a few movements here. Yeah, And then release the left hand back up towards the sky, back forward, back down to the inside of the left foot, and sneak the left foot back. So sneak the left leg back behind. Let's take a moment here in child's pose. So you might take the knees wide, stack one hand on top of the other. This open space, right? Letting there be spaciousness. So this moment in the day, this pause in the day of undoing, not doing, and the relief of that, the relief to find a little bit of just simple movements embodied. Come back up onto all fours. We'll step right foot forward. Let the hips shift forward. Let the head be soft so the back of the neck can be long. Support yourself with your hands. Find the top of the back foot pressing, ever so gently. It doesn't have to be strong, but awakening through that leg. And then let's find perhaps the left hand on the block just for support, extra support. We'll send the right arm way forward and then up towards the sky, finding this little twist. So the tendency here is to kind of sink down in the left shoulder. And since we're in cozy yoga, we don't want to give too much kind of over efforting. But see if you can just lift a little bit up and out, a little spaciousness in the left shoulder. And then we'll take the right hand to the back of the head and draw the right elbow to the inside of the right leg. And then opening back out again into this twist. Maybe one more movement, just like that. And we'll release the right arm up towards the sky, all the way back forward, back to the ground, and we'll step the right foot back. So the right knee and the left knee come back behind. We can set the block off to the side. We're just going to come right down onto our backs from here. So go ahead and lay back down again. Hands on the belly. Feel just a few breaths coming in. You might release them out of the mouth. Like you're stirring the energy, clearing the space. Breathe in and out. And just like that. And gathering all the stuff that can be released, inhaling and exhaling. We're going to take the hands together, rub the palms together. Just rub the palms together enough to generate a little bit of energy between the palms, and then cup the palms over the eyes. And like you're drinking in this kind of quiet, spacious darkness. Knowing that all of this kind of letting go, releasing, making space is just making fertile ground, right, for renewal, right, for what might begin later, right? What we might notice is beginning in the future, right? When things bloom. Our new beginning might just be all about doing less. That might be our beginning, right? Is to do less and take care. Let's go ahead and release the legs onto the ground, release the arms onto the ground, and let's take a brief rest here. So just relaxing the body, releasing. If you can think about a thorough letting go here. And bring a little bit of movement back into the body. Take one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. As a gesture of listening into that open awareness, into the spaciousness. And when you're ready, we'll roll over onto the side and come up to a seated position. Any kind of seated position that feels like you can kind of stay inward, stay a little softer. And letting the hands land on the heart. And kind of honoring this idea of finding some time to be cozy, to be settled, to stay. There's this kind of nurturing practice for maintaining our capacity or building our capacity to be creative and vital in this world. And to do that, this kind of sincere letting go, this sincere releasing, this sincere making space. And I hope that you enjoyed this practice and that you were able to find some space